Okay, so this week should be a pretty simple assignment for you. Still utilizing our art skills and also scientific skills, as you'll see in a little bit. But just reviewing yarn bombing, we learned that yarn bombing is a type of street art that employs colorful displays of knitted, crocheted yarn or fiber rather than spray paint or chalk. And it's actually a pretty accepted type of graffiti because it's not permanent and can be easily removed. So we learned that it's attributed to Magda Sayegh from Houston. We watched the video on her and how she started this kind of yarn bombing revolution, or she's known as the mother of yarn bombing. So we looked at a lot of examples and talked about how yarn bombing can make public spaces that might otherwise seem cold or boring, maybe not so colorful, come to life and be more interesting. And yarn bombers do this in all different types of ways. Sometimes they make political statements, other times they're just trying to simply beautify the community. Sometimes they're also very humorous. So we worked with Katie Ruiz, if you remember, back before we left school. And we were actually the last group that she was able to work with before we had to go out on break. So it's great that we were able to help her with the Pom Pom project. I did want you to thank Katie because it's really amazing that she came to our school, taught us how to do that. She is a very talented artist, and we are lucky that we got to work with her and that all of your work will be part of a community yarn bomb once all of this is over. So I want you to write Katie a thank you note, and I want you to express gratitude. As part of that, I want you to watch this video on the science of gratitude because there is science behind expressing thanks, not only being helpful for ourselves, but helpful to others as well. So I want you to watch that video on the scientific facts of why it's good for you and good for others. And then I want you to create a design on Adobe Spark to say thank you. You're going to save this as a PNG file and add it to a Google Drive folder that I will be sharing with you titled Katie Ruiz Thank You Notes. And then within that folder, make sure you find your class period because I am going to be doing this with both my period 1 and period 2 classes. So make sure you put your name on your folder when you submit it so that you can have credit. And basically, you may have heard me say this before, but thank you notes are something I just find extremely important and valuable. I believe it is a life lesson to learn to write people thank you notes. Typically, I am all about the handwritten thank you notes. I think it's a very personal touch. However, given our current circumstances that we're off campus, this will be a way to make it so personalized with your individual designs on Adobe Spark, but also you'll be able to do it pretty quickly and we'll be able to get it to her safely. So, to go on to Adobe Spark, if you haven't before, all you need is to sign in with your Google account. And you can see here when you get onto Adobe Spark, you can choose how you set up this note. I would recommend, honestly, just doing an Instagram post and then turning that into your thank you note, but you can use whatever fits for you. You can look through the different options. And don't be afraid to use Google Images. You can include images of Katie's work and make sure you personalize it. Give some reasons as to why you felt her presentation was enjoyable or what you liked. If maybe you had never used yarn before this or weren't that familiar with yarn bombing before this, that's something you could let her know. And let's just practice being grateful and thankful. So, this is your assignment for this week. I will give you again through next week on Wednesday to get this in. So you won't have to turn it in until April 22nd morning AM because I'll put all of these thank you notes in a file together that we'll discuss on our Zoom call on April 23rd. So just get in the mindset of that is how these projects are going to go. You'll basically have over a full week to submit things. We'll discuss them on the Thursday Zoom conference, and then you'll get a whole new set of projects for the following week. Make sure you're keeping on top of your work. I'm here if you need anything, and please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions.